Hey guys, welcome back to Taku Katsu. I'm your main host for today, Patrick, joined by Grumpy Man Cori.
I'm here to tell you that you're wrong, and I'm right, and we should all be living our Puritan values. No condoms, they're bad. Just don't get married, don't have sex.
Oh, boy.
Everybody, we should all die. Wait, no, sorry, that's the plot of the show. Go ahead.
And yeah, I think we're also joined by a special guest, Grumpy Vicky.
The title of this anime also translates to "Thanks, I hate it."
Yes, and actually, I think might be Grumpy Old Man Patrick as well. Today's episode is Shuumatsu no harem, which also translates to World's End Harem. I guess you could tell about the show just by hearing the title of it. Let me try to give you a summary of the show. It's quite a bit of detail, but the main idea is the main character-kun is Reito. He has multiple sclerosis, and it's set in like 2040. And so super in the future, and so technology is amazing, and like it's the world itself in that time frame sounds great. Like robots do everything, people can do whatever they want. But so Reito, he's able to like get treated for it by being like frozen in this cold sleep for 5 years. He goes through this process, and he wakes up 5 years later to find out the world is in an apocalyptic setting where the MK virus, the male killer virus, has killed 99% of men in the world, leaving only like 5 men in this world. Potentially 5 men in this world. 5 billion women in the world. So for every man, there's at least 1 billion women per man in this world.
1 billion boinks per boy.
Don't you mean 2 billion?
I mean, if there's 5 billion women and there's 5 boys, so. Oh, well, I mean, if that's what you mean by boink. We call those bits around here.
Oh, bits. Bits, no bobs, guys. Only bits.
Look, 10 bits per boy, but, there's
10 bits per bob.
Yes.
10 billion bits per boy, 5 billion bobs. God bless it. This is complicated.
Oh, sorry.
Welcome to Taku Katsu. We're going to talk about the first episode. This is a new show, and nobody likes it.
Yes, we'll call it an interesting show.
This is probably the first time we've all been unanimously united.
Yes, I
think
so.
Good.
Yes, this is interesting. But so the point of this show is Reito, or the men in this world that we're following, particularly Reito, the women scientists or the people, or whoever's alive, the science people are trying to say, hey, we need you to repopulate the world, so we need to use you. So have sex with these women because you need to make babies, which is interesting, but man,
not really.
Not really.
I've heard it before.
Yeah, not really.
How to be a sperm bank in the future.
Pretty much. All right, so
let me say this.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard of this plot before, you're probably either not watching a lot of anime or too young for this podcast.
Probably.
That is it. Because I can think of at least one off the top of my head from 20 years ago. I don't know the name of it. But it was a dude who was allergic to women and then got isekai. This is before isekai was a thing. He got transported to another world of women where he wasn't allergic to all of them. And of course, they all loved him. But there's like no men in this world. Sound familiar? There's this American comic, I don't know the name of it, where, again, dude like gets knocked out, cryogenically frozen, something. And all the men in the world die. Except for him.
Mm-hmm.
And now all the women in the world are trying to get him. But not in the like fun way, in the like psycho way.
Yes. Yeah.
And his mom is like the de facto president because all of the men died. And she was like the labor secretary or something. But she's like, "Oh, you running? Go!" Like, this is not a new idea, and it's not executed in a particularly interesting way.
Right. And if it's not a new idea, then for you, I think this is where you'll decide whether you like it or not. Again, for me, I've seen plenty or heard of plenty of other like this particular scenario and it's like, yeah, it's not really done. It hasn't really been done that well for me to kind of praise it. So in this show as well, I'm like, yeah, I don't think they're not going to do it as well. But I guess we can move on to our first topic. What do we like about this show, guys? Vicky,
damn!
I see.
Was this the nose goes and I missed it? Because
yeah, you know why? Because we were here on time.
What do I like about this show? It ended.
Yeah, great.
That's a cop out answer.
Yeah.
No.
Let me see. First of all, I'm gonna apologize right now. I'm sorry, because this show, I thought there would be something to it, but I really don't think there's that much to it, even for the context of it. But go, Vicky.
No, it dovetailed nicely in terms of our topics at the time.
Yeah, our trilogy just ended exactly where it belonged, in the trash bin.
Yeah. And it wasn't even that ecchi, and I wonder, like, it has to become ecchier.
Yes.
It has to be.
And I realize I'm supposed to talk about what I like. I like the concept of... It wasn't even that good of a concept. I'm trying to find anything I like. But the concept of, like, people not having to work and, like, it's a utopia.
Yeah. The world,
People can do whatever.
Yeah, 2040 was an amazing time to live in.
Mm-hmm.
Like every great utopia, it's actually a dystopia because all the men are dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just that by the time 2042 came along, it was like, boom, shut that shit down real fast. Yeah, it was animated averagely. So it wasn't a trash.
That was my compliment as well. It is average.
Yeah, like it wasn't amazing, but it wasn't a trash heap of an animation job. So, yeah. And, you know, I saw the uncensored version, so I have no idea what the censored version could be like, because all it was like very, very nicely animated bits.
I don't think there's a censored version because I couldn't watch it in the normal places.
Right.
So
same thing here.
I don't think High Dive, Crunchyroll, or Funimation, who those two are the same now, picked it up. I think it's a bad show, and there is no uncensored version because this is an 8, and it's not even a good 8.
Yeah. Like watching it, I was expecting to get into 9 territory, and then it was just kind of like almost like the tamest harem type situation.
Yeah.
Almost. So far.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, this first episode, it's probably will be the tamest I'll get. I assume it will ramp up in the next episodes, but as the first episode, again, reviewing the first episode by itself, it didn't even give you what you would want, I guess, if that's a weird thing to say. Yeah.
Let me sell this for the 14-year-olds who should not be listening to this podcast. All right. So you've got boobs, like exposed. You got nipples drawn on. It's no Sailor Moon. Okay.
Yeah.
Full moon, not Sailor Moon. Right. You've got one girl who's in like a nightie and snuggles up against him. You got boob bounces, not like Gynax bounce, just like they literally clap. Like they literally like 4 or 5 times. It happens a lot, like a lot. Anyway, I forgot the dumb joke I made her. I told you about this. It was anyway, whatever. titty bosses. That's what it was.
Yes.
At the end, he's like running, and then they're like shadows and their cleavage and what have you. It's like he's got to fight them all the titty bosses. It's not creative. It's not creative at all. But back to what 14-year-old me might have enjoyed at this point. I don't know. It seemed really. But anyway, what else would you like? I don't know. There's not a lot to say. Mm-hmm. It's not ugly. The character models are fine, right?
Yeah.
I think they're not. Yeah, I don't know.
I actually like the ending sequence, which I think is the opening sequence. They just did the whole switcheroo thing. Mm-hmm. It was kind of interesting seeing the background silhouettes of the many naked women.
Yeah, it felt like that was like Cori was saying, like those were the bosses. Like if those were like monsters, you'd be like, oh, these are the monsters that he's gonna fight or encounter. It feels like this the setting of it.
So,
but
okay, so here's the argument. This isn't a show. This isn't a harem. This is about a man who really wants to find his not girlfriend and how he's going to defeat all these women by not sleeping. This is like that Peter
Grills?
Yeah, this is like that Peter Grill anime. Thank you, Nacho, for chiming in. He wanted to remind me to say Peter Grill again. It's like that Peter Grill anime, except Peter Grill sleeps with everyone. Mm-hmm. So maybe this guy won't? Is this Hero number 2? No? Because it's worse?
He's definitely going to... I mean, unless it's just, like you said, unless it is just Hero where he's not going to do anything until that point. And we have the other characters do the things for him. Because there are the 4 other guys, potentially,
there are other guys, right.
And then that's where it gets it.
Including his brother.
Yeah.
And his sister. Yeah. Never mind.
Man. Was it his sister?
No.
Was it just like...
I'm going to shit on this show about his sister.
Was it?
Oh my goodness!
Or was it like just a little girl?
No, that is actually sister. Yeah.
Wow.
A little pink-haired, brown-haired girl who at like let's call her 12, 15, 17 at most. She's wearing like a halter or whatever the hell. She's wearing not enough clothes. Anyway,
she was wearing Jahi's outfit.
Yes.
Like she was. Well, okay, it wasn't literally Jahi's outfit, but
it was kind of
for going to meet your brother, who you haven't seen in 5 years?
Well, with no male gaze, she can wear whatever she wants.
This is fair, but here's the reverse question. With no male gaze, do you care? I don't know. That was a question I don't see. Patrick, what do you like about this show? I have two things to say about it.
Go for it. All right.
You sure?
All right. I'll you go last. All right. So, what I like about this show? I don't really know. I was gonna say the plot, but like that storyline, like I felt like they talked a lot. They really talked a lot to justify why he should be doing the thing. It was really weird because, like, again, from this show, and again, if I wanted to watch that type of show, you would watch that type of show. So I came into this thinking, okay, I'm gonna expect something bips and pops, but they spent a lot of time talking about the plot and why he needs to do his service to the world and repopulate the world. They gave him all the reasons. Yep. The scientist girl, she was like the scientist, so she was explaining the statistics, she was explaining the data, and the guy was like, what about this? And the girl's like, no, we can't do that because of this. And the guy's like, what about this? And the girl's like, no, we can't do that because of this. And so basically, when you're watching this show, like, yeah, I guess he should do that, and it just makes sense. Like, and like she's giving you the data, and it's like, okay, you should do this. I'm like, is this show just trying to justify what the guy should be doing, right?
It really was.
And I was just like, and he doesn't want to do it because, his, like Cori said, his not girlfriend. He's trying to find her still. But
who he apparently gave a tracking GPS.
Oh, that's true. Oh my goodness. Big brain move there. That's what I liked about the show. Big brain move. He gave her the GPS tracking necklace. I'm like, wow, that is wild.
If it works after 5 years after technological collapse, practically, all right, cool, good job, future.
Right. Okay, but But what I like about the show is like it's I don't know if it's what I like about, but like they just spend a lot of time talking about the sake. It's for the sake of the plot, you know, and it reminds me of a certain revenge show where no, it's like they're doing something for the plot because he needs to be this way in order for him to continue the plot. But I
Yeah.
think that Redo Healer is way better than this show in that sense because this show doesn't really even like it doesn't feel written well or like I don't know. Maybe it's just a show just for the show, but I
Mhm.
feel like Redo Healer does it better because it's like more of a even it has a more interesting plot than this show. But I can't really kind of put my finger on why. Like I may not. I don't know if there's something I really like about this show. There isn't really much.
None of us do.
Yeah.
All right.
I feel like Redo of Healer was intentional in like
Mhm.
how the plot fits together, and this is like let's just throw a bunch of excuses at it to make
Yeah.
the plot happen.
Exactly, right? It's like for the sake of revenge, Redo Healer does like it's. I feel like it's more thought out, and for this show, it's like they're just giving you a list of answers that you want to hear for him to just do the woman, right?
Yeah,
It's like here's
it would
a
have
list.
been it would have been way better if they tried artificial insemination during the show and found it didn't work, and then be like, well, you know, you have to sleep with these women normally. And that was such a cop out to be like they tried it and it didn't work, and it was only when they did normal sex, and it was like, what? Why would artificial insemination not work? You could take a turkey baster and it should work. Like,
Yeah.
That's how pregnancy works.
If there are men, we're just turkey bastards. No, you're right. I will say this. The horny psycho woman was kind of funny. She just came out like,
men.
That was a little bit funny. And then I thought, you know what? The exact reverse. The horny psycho dude is terrifying murder rate dude. But she's funny, dude's not. Sexism. Anyway.
Yeah, can I say one thing about that part? I thought in my mind, what if the roles were reversed, where there were a bunch of men and one woman? I was like, wait a minute, how would that play out?
That sounds a whole lot like Redo a Healer to me at that point.
Yeah, in this, but for this show, it's like they reverse it, so it's funny, I guess. Yeah. But if you were to do the opposite, where there's like 5 women and 5 billion men, you're like, okay, this is gonna get into terrible, mad, like apocalyptical, like this is gonna get bad.
Yeah, real bad.
Tail.
Yeah.
So I would rather watch this than Redo.
Really?
I disagree. Obviously, I would rather watch Redo Healer than this show.
Yeah,
100%.
And this is with the full knowledge that I, from the get-go, thought this was a bad show and was super interested in the plot of Redo Healer from the get-go. I just am offended, I guess is the word, by the morality or lack thereof of Redo Healer. That's just what it really comes down to. Mm-hmm. I think I've made that abundantly clear in our 37-ish episodes.
Yep.
It's just not a good show. It's not a good show. Dude has some like kind of smart plans. Like 2 of them. The GPS is one of them, and the other one's like, okay, he's going to agree to do what they say if they look for her. Mm-hmm. Now she's probably dead, and if she's not dead, she's probably his minder and doesn't know it.
Yeah, like what is up with that? They look nearly identical.
Mm-hmm. The only thing is, like, she literally has very different eyes, and like her biological development has been advanced significantly.
Yep.
In 5 years, which sounds like surgery. But why would she be a mind? Like, it doesn't make any real sense, but it sounds like a kind of dumb plot twist that you would put in a dumb, not really sci-fi harem show. Mm-hmm. It's and like. I have so many terrible things. I have so many things to say I don't like about it. So I'm gonna shut up again. Vicky, you wanna unload?
Your
top 3.
Yes, let's
Ta-
limit our hate to 3 main subjects.
okay.
Then we can shit on
Nonsensical plot armor, which is
Yeah.
weird because plot armor usually applies to like keeping the like main character like alive for whatever reason. This is plot armor to make the main character have to have sex with many women. And it's like that's the main thing where they were like artificial insemination doesn't work. Other means they don't work. So you just have to do it and become humanity's hope. Like, why? Why were there only 5 people in 5 billion men that somehow survived because of multiple sclerosis? Like, if they were getting treated for multiple sclerosis, that means that other men also would have had multiple sclerosis and might not have had treatment, but they would have survived because they were like, is there something happen that makes them immune to the virus?
Why did okay? I don't know a lot about multiple sclerosis, but did his brother never have it?
No, his brother, I think
His
because
brother
it's
was frozen,
hereditary.
but I
Right.
thought it was hereditary. I'm
Right.
like, his brother's older than him. Did he have it
Mhm.
before? Did he never? Anyway,
Yeah, that
So
part
I-
wasn't really explained, but I would assume. I mean, I would assume that like, it might have run in the family or something. But yeah, his brother is just frozen. Like again, that plot point was like, oh, I would be okay if his sister's there because his sister's a lady, but the brother also is in the cold sleep as well,
Mhm.
and you're just like, oh, I guess that's a thing, you know.
Yep, that's my main thing. It was like, this is just so, making it to be like, hey, this is the only way. And it's like, come on. In this technologically advanced future, they're telling me they couldn't figure out a way to like make copies or clones or making artificial insemination work. That's just wild. Wild.
Right.
There's basically the whole show. I hate it. I hate the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
anything else?
No, I'm gonna let y'all go
Yeah.
next. 'Cause-
Pat, yeah. We're gonna take time. Take turns passing the ball to each other and dunking. And
Yep, for real. Let's just round robin it.
all right.
Here's my bounce pass. Bam, go for it.
Bam. All right.
Patrick.
So yeah, it's like I wasn't feeling like I wasn't even feeling like disgusted watching this show. I just felt bad and like just turned off by it because it was like again all these. I felt like it made like the women like, oh, they couldn't solve it. They needed the men to kind of like, because all the, you know what I'm saying? Like, all the, no, so like, no, here's the thing. Like the images of the show, like they show you like, oh, the women are weak and like they're like, oh, where are our male scientists and stuff? It was just so weird.
Mhm.
And I was like,
Yes!
I don't know if it was like, if that was just me, but I'm glad you guys were like, why is they showing these imageries of just like women or just? I'm like, okay, I guess they need the men to kind of help them.
Here's where it killed me. She's like, science is in danger.
Mhm.
What the fuck are you talking about? Do you not have books? You have AI that can like replace cells. You can't learn? What is wrong with you?
Mhm.
It made no sense because the world was governed by the robots. Robots were doing everything for them. The plot in the beginning was 2040 is the best time to live in. Robots do everything, and humans can do whatever they want in their free time. It is a utopia. Robots got this. The disease
like
hits, and like
You know there's going to be a nerd out there who learned how to do it. Like, they're just going to learn stuff. There's just going to be some out there that's like, oh, yeah, I just learned how to be a doctor for fun.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Oh, my
It
God.
is wild. They were like, men died and everything was ruined.
Yeah,
It's like, you still have half the population, which is generally underrepresented in all of these fields. So there should be a boom of innovative thought. But no, they were like, nope, everyone's in rags in the streets.
Yep,
And-
exactly.
My best argument, it's not even that good. My best argument is they got delayed, right? So let's pretend in the future it's still like shitty. So like most women want to be or could be doctors, researchers, intelligentsia are behind. Then all the men die. All right, first off, there's still women who are smart, right?
Mhm.
And they would be like, "All right, we're taking this. Let's go," because they were there. Then you have all the people who could have done it, just never did. Like we're talking about middle managers and stuff, people who are plenty smart but they were just doing the middle stuff. They were doing the work. They weren't doing the research. They would have either stepped up or they would have had other people step up. And yeah, they would have been delayed because the whole world's economy got messed up. And there's, a lot of brain drain when 50% of the world dies. That being said, right, not everyone will be locked out unless your entire company's staffed by men and only men. Like, someone's going to have keys. Someone's going to be able to get that. And, as we said, AI everywhere. Yes. Ain't that hard to just be like, hey, AI, fix this little problem so I can do some more work, right? Like, again, yeah, would the world have a huge problem? Almost definitely. But not like science is in danger.
Yeah, and also what's weird is like, they couldn't quarantine that shit. like 99%, like everyone died, okay, here's it's like, okay, it doesn't, that to me blows my mind, like the world was, or everyone, all men died, right? Okay, but they couldn't quarantine that shit. Like they couldn't study, like they couldn't like put them away, like it all happened in an instant. It felt like the world got hit by a meteor and the whole world was affected by this aura.
Considering our lack of containment on something that doesn't kill 99% of all men,
right? Okay.
No, Patrick, we could not have quarantined that. We have failed so spectacularly because some people are like, I don't want to wear the mask. I want to go outside. I don't believe it.
Remember, rule number one, podcast about Taku Katsu, we don't talk about
it. Somebody tell me I'm wrong.
Can't.
You can't. I'm sorry.
I'm wrong about many things, but I'm not wrong about everything.
Yeah.
It's just wild that they were like, male killer. Like, just so much is wrong with.
So since you said that, their naming conventions are terrible. Like, United Women, UW, MK Virus, male killer. Be more creative, please. Please. That was just bad dialogue, lazy naming, very borrowed cliches-ish plot. And of course, if this show would have gone full like the other direction and it would have been like, this man is horny for everybody and he's trying, he's just like, yes, let me impregnate you, then it would have been funny because then the women would have naturally said no. Because they say yes, it's a hentai. If they say no, it's hilarious. I have to save the world with my penis. No, not you though.
No, instead we get Higehiro the next level where it's every woman.
God damn it.
Here's the thing though. Usually harem shows, the protagonist, if he's gonna be like chaste, it's gonna be like this, where he's an idiot, or he's chaste, or he's got some other random reason not to do what everyone else thinks he's gonna do, right? To give conflict. And in this case, he has. If he would have been married, I would have been like, I get your argument. But he hadn't even asked her out until he was about to be frozen for 5 years. And she's like, I know you liked me. Okay. One of you solve this problem or shut up.
Yeah.
And she was confessed to by someone else, and he was like, did you answer him? And it was like, wow. What a douche move.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they could have set it up better, I felt like.
She and him are not supposed to be together because they are too afraid. Because if she knew he liked her, then she could have at some point been like, look there, come on. Not up or shut up. Right? Like, really though. And if he's gonna wait till the last minute, he didn't deserve it. You can't let fear rule your life, and now it's too late because blah 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 blah. And that's like a common conceit with these kinds of stories. It's like, oh, I have someone I promised myself to. Did they disappear? Why are they disappearing? First off, if you're gonna wait 5 years for anyone in your life, it better be for really good reason. Waiting 5 years is a unnecessarily long time.
And that's the whole thing. Maybe she stopped waiting. That's why she, quote unquote, disappeared. Because it's like she didn't want to wait anymore. And you don't want to stick around with, like, the family of who you don't want anymore, you will just go live your own life. Maybe she's out living her own life.
And maybe she's lesbian. Because guess what they said? He has no sexual dysfunction and he isn't gay.
When that lead lady said that, it almost sounded like she was making it a demand, like nothing's wrong with him, he's not gay. Like, what if he was gay?
What if he was? Mm-hmm. Right? Oh man.
It was like, you better make sure he's not gay.
I think she also said like, I might have been forgetting, but did she say something like he's not like a religious person or he's not like a clergyman or something like that? No, I don't recall that.
No,
I don't remember that, but I remember I wrote down this one too. He's like, so many people are dead and cryogenized. I can't take charge. What are you talking about?
What?
Just save the world or don't. Pick.
Also,
pick one.
why can they only live for a year?
Yeah, so
they need to put a time limit to him.
Yeah,
so it's all anime reasonings. I'm just like, it again. They give you that point right there, like you said, Vicky. It's like it's another reason for him to do what he needs to do, quote unquote. Like there's a time limit. You might die, so you need to do your duty and like protect the world and all that stuff.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, okay.
Which realistically only gives them 3 months to impregnate as many people as possible, so that they can find a cure, so they can cure all these men who are going to die in a year. Which means they have to synthesize a cure in that time while they're pregnant, or as soon as the babies are born. Science, they're all going to die. Also, genetic diversity. 5 men, 5 billion women. Could that work? Maybe. I don't think that's how that works.
You'd get into a lot of inbreeding issues, but they have an AI that can replace every cell in your body, apparently, because that's how he was healed of his multiple sclerosis.
Insemination should work great.
Exactly. That's why it makes no sense.
Make sense.
Bad plot. Bad story. Shit sci-fi. I like sci-fi more than anything, and this is not that. This is
so
shit.
Bad.
Shit. Also, if his sister wants to have sex with him, I'm going to riot.
Well, you know, the ending
She's
sequence.
One of the bosses.
She's one of the bosses, and there's that other girl, the green-haired girl, the littlest one. You're not gonna like this show, Cori. There are 2 characters in the show. You're gonna be like, I have problems, and I'm like, yep.
So, for the record, who's gonna watch this?
Hell no.
Oh my god, no.
That's what I thought.
No.
Hell no.
Man,
I'm going back on the redo healer train. This show is so bad. I gotta wash my eyes with redo healer because that's how bad this show is. I'm just like, it's just not good.
It is a bad show, but I'm not gonna feel, unless his sister tries to sleep with him, I'm not gonna feel like there's a moral quandary as so much as a stupid quandary where like the guy has to make. Okay, here's a separate question to either of you. Let's say you're the girl who gets left behind for 5 years. Mm-hmm. And then your partner of choice, who you have never partnered with, mind you, is the savior of the world. Is that okay? Do they get a pass?
Oh, okay. I had to think about that.
You would get 5 billion passes because it's the fate of the species.
Yes.
That's what I'm thinking.
Again, it's just they justify it. Like it's like in the real world saying like, yes, you should. If there's only one man, let's bring it down the world to like if there's one man and 5
one man or one, I don't care.
Yes,
just
right.
If you're the other, you have to wait 5 years and then realize, oh no, they're gonna sleep with everyone. Do you say fuck it, or are you upset? Do you run away? Do you die? Do you accept it and just say like, I'm the wife of the world savior or husband of the world savior, whatever? What do you say? Like, I don't know how I would deal with it in real life, but in a practical, logical way, I'm like, all right, I get it.
Yeah, it's
But
the
I think
fate
a
of the
lot of people are
world.
not practical and logical,
Right.
and it's very difficult in an extreme situation like that to be okay with that.
I think that question is an amazing question because it's basically, can you separate your logic from your emotions? Because logically speaking, it's the end of the world. It's the end of humanity. Like,
And I want to be very clear. They are not in a relationship. It's not even like they've dated. They've just been friends for 20, I don't know, years maximum. There's no established relationship other than friendship. So if that happens, your feelings aren't hurt the same way as like, oh, my wife or my husband has to have sex with 1 billion people to save humanity.
Yeah,
It's not the same.
I felt like they could have set that up better if they were either married or couples, or like they had, or they were like engaged, whatever. Right? I think that would have been
especially if they were like
better
committed marriage.
Yes,
but even if they were dating for a week, it's better than what they had.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
We're friends for all of our lives, and we've never said anything about being in Detroit. Oh, so stupid.
It'd be interesting to see if any of the other 5 men had partners previous to cryogenesis, and like they're still around after, because then we could get into that real moral ethic quandary of a question where it's like, do you do it or do you not? Which is honestly a better story than what we're given.
Yeah, it would be
way better.
But this show is trash, and it's just like, it's made to be fan service, but it's bad fan service.
Yeah, like it's very C quality. It's not like the worst. It's just like very, 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 very average.
And not even average. It's just mediocre.
Mediocre, average.
Other shows do it better than this show. Like that's the point. Like, if you want to watch that type of show, you do it. This show, you wouldn't watch it just for that part. I don't think.
To make our internal reference, the fan service in Redo of Healer is 1,000,000 times better than this.
You watch it for that, though. For the plot revenge,
yes,
but for that as well.
Watch it for that. Thank you, Patrick.
You watch it for many. There are many reasons why you watch it for it. It helps accentuate the plot. This show, it doesn't accentuate the plot. It's just, that's what's gonna happen. Like, it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's like, again, bad, and it's like writing itself in a way, but like, I don't know. It's just not good.
This is the late night filler show. Like, hey, we need a show that we can air at 3 a.m.
ATX,
and we want it to be relatively inexpensive. So just get somebody who can produce them, and we're done. So it's just not. Yeah, it's whatever. So as I said, I hate you, Patrick.
Yeah, no, I apologize. This is bad.
It fit our trilogy really well, but it was also just wasn't good.
It also it wasn't that ecchi. Okay, she gets into bed with him, and the animation for that was so just like, this is just.
It was not. It was like only 10 seconds. It was like, it was not even there. Or like, it was like whatever in my mind.
I think the etchiness wasn't 8. I think it was just very lazy. Like, it wasn't well produced, choreographed, or whatever. When I think about it critically, like, it wasn't creative. Like, the entire show.
Yeah.
There is no art direction. There's no layout. It's just like, what would be attractive? This. What do people? Boobs. Tons of boobs. Just here's a wall of women, and they're all naked. Look at them with their boobs. Boobs are of slightly different sizes, but mostly really large. Like, that's it. It was just insanity. It was so lazy. It was just uncreative. It wasn't good. And again, if you're like 14, this show is great. New ideas,
right?
Never heard of. But if you've ever seen a good show with interesting ideas, this is gonna fall short pretty quick.
Like you said, if I was younger and I would watch this show, I'd be like, oh, that's interesting, and then that ecchi part would pop up. I'd be like, okay. But to be honest, there are other shows like harem or ecchi shows that they set the tone better. I don't know.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? It's a little weird, but like the camera, the art direction, the voice direct, like it would be better in that sense. But for this, it was, like you said, it didn't even deliver on that promise.
Well, and I would even say, as far as the self-insert of ecchi shows, because that's like 80% of ecchi shows. It's like, what if I were you? What if I was there?
Mhm.
What would I would do? I think the character trait of I'm not gonna do what everyone thinks I'm gonna do is engaging if done well and infuriating the rest of the time. Like super dumb protagonists, super self guys who don't believe in themselves, whatever the word is for that. Those protagonists and like just unreasonably chaste protagonists can be done well, but they're usually irritating as hell because it's like, why are you making this dumb choice? Why do you keep doing that? Why do you keep doing that? And that's the conflict. And if it's done for comedy, it's usually better. But if it's done for not comedy at all, it's usually infuriating.
Mhm.
Hikihiro, as much as I enjoyed that trash fire, super engaging for me, but infuriating at the same time. And it rode that balance just enough for me to love that show. Because it's an enjoyable show to me, but it's like, oh my god. But then like something like, give me a second, Tichimuyo, right? The main character is mostly clueless and then a little dumb, and he's surrounded by women who have attention. She's like, I don't know what's going on. I'm confused. I'm not comfortable. A little more relatable though, especially when you're 15. You know, you're like, yeah, if I was in that situation, I'd choose that, but I don't know how I deal with it. Like more relatable. This character is just like, this is girl that she promised herself to me and I told her, but we didn't do anything, and she's gone and the world's falling apart. And if anyone is watching the show is like, okay, easy answer. Do it. Like, you don't even they're not even saying like have sex with 5 billion women. They're just like, pick as many as you like. Go for it. No conflict other than he's like, I don't want to. It's not right.
Yeah.
Dude, do you want to save the world? Do you? Yes or no? You can. You can. He could have picked 10 women and they would have been happy. Like they didn't set a minimum bar at all. They're just like, pick whoever you want. Cool, right? He could. You could make a logical argument that he could sleep with women for a year, and then go find his long lost love. As it
Well,
were.
he's gonna die.
He
in a
might die
year.
in the year 2.
He's not going to die. The frozen men are going to die. He's fine.
Oh.
Wait, why are the frozen the cryogenesis is gonna break down in a year?
The virus is slowed down, it's still in them, so it'll still kill them.
But I thought they
They
were
froze
also.
the men. They froze the rest of the men so they wouldn't die.
I thought they had multiple sclerosis and were cured.
Okay, so let me be clear. There are 5 men who were frozen. 2 of them are unfrozen at this first episode.
Mm-hmm.
His brother, for what I know, is not one of the 5 men.
Oh.
They used his brother to explain. Also, dumb plot. Like, the dialogue is terrible because they're like, oh, I guess it's real because my sister said so. Shut up. You saw no women for a whole day. One psycho tried to grab you. All the other women ran from you. And this other woman is trying to bang you like every other one and had a whole magic wall full of women naked ready for you. That's insane. You should probably just trust that the world is the way it says it is. You can't prove otherwise.
Like the city was in shambles for
Yeah.
some fucking reason. Like women don't know how to clean.
Yeah, I'm just like, well, why is it? Okay, I get it.
Look,
Apocalypse happened, but seriously, guys.
Their clothes were in tatters.
There's no men. They can't do construction.
Oh my god, stop.
Or go to the store to get more clothes. Like, their clothes were in tatters. I'm surprised we didn't see a fucking trash can with fire coming out of it and women standing around warming themselves.
Oh my god, it's so true.
It was so stupid.
Kind of a misogynistic anime, isn't it?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, shoot. Anyway, basically the plot is trying to say is to save the rest of the men or any babies who might be born, or any other, or just to basically get rid of the virus in general, they want to study him, but they need him to have sex to study him, so he's got a year to do it. There's a lot of like loose ideas that like with any critical thought are like, wait, why does that? How are you? What are you saving? Is his brother? What? It really was not clear. Because we all watched it, saw different parts, and got different conclusions, which means it's probably poorly written. Just, oh god,
It is for sure poorly written. Like,
god.
just ugh.
Oh, also, why didn't they lock the door to that car? Why did he get out? How did he get out?
Just jumped out. He just jumped out.
Because it's not like they showed that the car stopped. It's more like he just was like, ah! And jumped out the car. Like, lock the door. You have one of the 5 men in the entire world, and he's surrounded by lady bodyguards with tasers. Lock the car door. If for no other reason than to prevent people from getting in and out. Like the one man.
Why wasn't his sister there when they were waking him up? Like, you'd think they'd be like, hey,
That's true.
we're going to wake your brother up.
That's true.
You should be here for this.
So, because they wanted to introduce the lolly sister character who could want to flirt with him because there's no men left.
It's going to be some real, like, little sister.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like this. It's just written. I mean,
It's like a bag of cliches, and they just like threw them on the table and said, "This is a manga. Draw it."
Mm-hmm. The only thing I could say I would look forward to is to see what the other men are like, because I think there was a Shota.
Yeah, at the end of the opening, there's like an older man. There's the guy with the glasses. There's like the pretty boy.
Yep.
And there's another one.
Really?
Yeah. There's.
I don't know. Not Shota, but like
it's not.
Yeah,
the face alone.
He literally can't be a Shota because that would defeat the.
Yeah, it wasn't like, but it gave me like Leg Boy vibes, where it was like this is going to be the quirky pretty one.
Oh, has anyone else watched any anime that wasn't this show?
Sadly, no.
Patrick, you've been watching something recently. You didn't mention it.
I watched. I watched Utena, more of Utena, and I was like, that is getting pretty good. I mean, the beginning is like the beginning episodes. I'm like, this is actually pretty interesting, and I'm getting into it.
Heck yeah!
It's the little Choo Choo, the monkey, the monkey rat. I have no idea why that character is just a mascot for no reason, but
for no reason.
I guess
money.
Yeah,
do you have a Choo Choo doll?
I do not.
Have you tried to get one in the past?
No, I'm not one for cutesy things like that. Not exactly. I'd rather have a
body pillow of
ideas. We're gonna buy her all the shit from any anime she likes. Just all of it.
Oh God.
Just tons of figurines of little mascot characters.
Like I would love to have figurines because I actually have
none, zero.
All figurines, really?
I haven't seen any.
Oh jeez.
I will, but I've got
probably super old by now.
A Puella Magica Madoka. I have it. PMMM.
The cat thing?
Madoka. No. Well, I have a Cube backpack.
Cube.
It's awesome.
Oh, awesome.
And like it looks just like Cube and you put stuff in it.
That's the cutesy thing. What are you talking?
I wouldn't call Cube.
No, his eyes are menacing. It's just
If you have a backpack of a cat thing, that's definitely the mascot for a murder show of magical girls. Still a cute thing.
No,
borderline.
The eyes.
Borderline.
But I've got two figurines of Madoka and Homura, and like they can touch hands with it. Like they're made to hold hands.
Ooh, that's
it's
cool.
So cool.
That is really cool.
So my imagination is like the perfect gift is like Nancy and then Utena taking a sword out of her
Yes,
Yeah.
that would.
That would
Oh,
That
I
would be a
would.
great gift for Vicky. I'm
Uh-huh.
sure it
Oh,
exists, and I'm sure it's like $1,000 because it's probably 50 years old. It was
Mm.
made
if
in the past before the show was made because magic.
yeah,
Anyway,
if they ever made it, like, if I could find something like that, I would drop
yeah,
dollars,
yeah.
major dollars.
Mm.
I don't even like that show, but if I had that, I'd be like, this is dope shit.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, you would watch something else. Was it?
Read
It
it here.
wasn't Makaku City Actors.
What?
Did you mentioned Sherlock? Or
Mm-hmm.
Yukoku no Moriarty?
yeah, not
Oh.
Sherlock. Did you watch something else though? That was it?
Yeah, no, that was last time. Yeah.
Okay,
I
okay,
finished.
never
I
mind.
finished first season of that. I'm gonna be watching the second season because in the second season, Sherlock's brother gets introduced and more
Ooh,
plots.
Mycroft.
Yes, and more
Love
plot.
it.
It's just interesting to see these characters that and also I gotta recommend you gotta watch the English dub because in Japanese, the Japanese dub, everyone sounds like Japanese, but in the English dub, you get that funny British accent. Every character has like a weird, funny. Even the characters, the side characters are hilarious. They're very much more noticeable for the side characters. To watch the English dub because it's not that's not translated. Their accents is not like translated into Japanese. Everyone just sounds Japanese in the Japanese.
Okay. Let me just say this real quick. There's like 3 broad Japanese sounding voice actors
Mm-hmm.
out there. There's like the okay, maybe not 3, maybe like 5 or 6. There's like high pitched girl, sultry adult woman,
Mm-hmm.
old woman, old man, and then there's like gruff man, and then there's boy, just broad
Right.
boy. But that's usually a woman anyway. But sometimes and maybe it's just because I've been watching anime for like 15 plus years. I can kind of hear when they're going for that like northern southern versus like straight like central Japan Tokyo
Oh,
accent.
Right.
Like I can kind of because the subtitles make it this because they'll like drop G's and stuff because they're like the southern Okinawan dialect or like Osaka from shit Azumanga Daioh. I'm starting to get that.
it is interesting to hear
Yeah.
Yeah.
because
It's not easy though.
It's not even just like how they sound; it's how they say things.
Yeah.
And that's why when you see the sub, they'll like write it in like a dialect, like it sounds like a dialect. And it's interesting if you can hear how they say things different.
Like I'm thinking of Osaka specifically because it's the one I've heard the most consistently because I've watched Azumanga Daioh several times. Because I couldn't do it. I tried to imitate it, but I'd have to listen to it before I'm a halfway decent mimic, but not that good. And I don't know Japanese for nothing, so it's even harder. Anyway, I know the first time I ever heard. Yeah.
No, keep going.
The first time I ever realized they did that on purpose, I was watching Ayoriyoshi. You would not like that, Patrick. You might like that.
Probably.
Ayoriyoshi, because there was an American, blonde, loud, big boobs, touched girls inappropriately all the time. And she was like from Texas, and they tried to flip it around. It was a whole thing. And then Azumanga Daioh was like, "Oh, it's Osaka. She's from Osaka." But then when you hear it in English, she has a slightly different way of talking. It's not standard, but it's not like obvious. They're not like trying to do a Texas affectation, but it's different and it's interesting, which I think is why, at least in part, some people will look at Osaka and be like, "Oh yeah, Osaka has Asperger's." Like, like people will identify that way, which is always fun. But anyway, you were going to say.
I did watch more of Idaten.
Ooh.
It's interesting. It's I've only gotten to like episode 4 or 5. It's
is it as good as I keep telling you it is?
It is interesting. It's interesting.
Okay.
And
Struggling
like
to
even
find the words because it's that complicated of a show.
no, because I'm trying to like remember like where I left off, and it was like they sent Nickel to go fight. Yeah, and like
You know
what?
what happened to him, right?
Yeah, that's a cool name, Nickel. And I'm assuming that like that was not the end of Nickel. Sorry, spoilers.
No,
alert.
I need to watch this too.
Like, yeah, but it's interesting because it's like, yeah.
No, I will.
like it.
I will eventually watch it too because again, it's 11 episodes, right? It's 11 episodes.
11.
12?
11.
Yeah, it's 11.
That's
and
it.
Yeah, I think I'll finish it today.
Regardless of what the little tidbit of at the end of or whatever the little tidbits they have in the episode.
Like I said, 10 and 11, it's gonna say what they said they were gonna say they were gonna do and did it.
Yeah.
Accept that or hate it.
But again, I think it's if it's for the plot and not actually like
again,
it's good.
It is pretty reasonably justified.
Right,
I don't think I wanted that to be what it is, but it is what it is and it makes sense.
Yeah, it just gives me good strong Hunter x Hunter vibes, plus like more mature themes, which unlike what did we just watch? Shuumatsu no harem. It's just I need the palate cleanse.
Oh man,
this show's also just it feels just boring. I don't know, like it wasn't like we mentioned if it was funnier or if it actually gave you what you were expecting, you would be like, okay, I get it. But because you could say, oh, they did it for this, and they did it because it was funny, or they did it because it was disgusting, but it's just like, it's just boring. There wasn't I wasn't feeling any emotion. I was watching it, I was like, okay, keep going. They're talking, okay, move on. They're talking, different setting, okay, and it ended. And I was like, I guess so.
There was no real conflict. That's the problem. The conflict is, hey, single guy who's been single probably your entire life. Have lots and lots of sex and save the world. And it is about as guilt-free as you can get. They gave him a not girlfriend to give conflict/guilt, and it's not real. I mean, yes, can people get hung up on small details that they really would better not? Sure. Did you convince me that that's what happened here? I guess, maybe. But that's not his not girlfriend isn't there. We don't know if she's alive. And she waited at least 5 years when the world fell apart, disappeared 3 years in, and you have to save the world, so either you let the world die because of your not girlfriend, or you don't, and then you try to meet her later, and then if she's okay with it because she went through hell, then she's okay with it. And if she's not, I'm sorry, you had your fun. For a year minimum. A year minimum!
With that, is this a harem?
Is this a harem?
Probably. It probably will because in the first episode there's just those two ladies and then the sister, but I'm assuming with the cast of those characters, right?
This is a harem by the way of Negi.
Yeah, it's like everyone is literally throwing themselves at him because he's the only man, but is that all it takes to be a harem?
So
more than 3 women, at least 3 women.
So I googled harem just for the hell of it. Wikipedia was like 3 or more.
Yes, right? More than 3.
So this is a full transition into the B side. Welcome. Please grab your chopsticks. We are serving rice. So when it comes to whether or not it's a harem or not, I think that we said 3-4 episodes ago that 3 makes sense. 2 love triangle, 3 or more harem, right, Vicky? Okay. What are other important elements of a harem?
I think what this show is missing, at least especially in the first episode, is the possibility of the attraction of the main character to any of the other possibilities. Like, of course they're going to throw more women at him, and probably like they're going to be, significant side characters, but so far there's no chemistry. Yeah, like there's just nothing there.
His sister.
No, yeah, but I'm sure he loves his sister.
Completely serious, this gross ass show is offering his sister as one of those people. Yes, I'm.
No, Vicky's right. Vicky's right. Yeah, Cori's also right too. Yeah, I see that.
Like
hashtag we're both right.
Wait. Think about this important fact that no one's brought up because I was waiting. What's the color of the main character and his brother? Their hair.
Yeah.
What's the color of his sister?
That's why I was like, is that his sister? Because her hair color is so vibrant.
Yeah.
And you know what happens when there's vibrant hair?
So they're not related. Half sister, baby. Adopted sister. Yeah.
Right.
That's why she's. Yep.
We don't even know how old she is. And she went in there like, hey, look at my figure.
Cori, she's 5 years older now.
5 years older than what? 10?
I don't know.
Then, let's say she was 12 when he went into cryogenesis for legal reasons.
Can we say 13 just to make me feel 13. Better?
No, Vicky's right.
We'll go 13. It's like, what are you doing, step bro? You gotta save the world.
Stop. You see, that is hilarious. I would love to. The fact that we're making it funny is amazing.
That's there was nothing played for laughs in that end. Like nothing was like laugh out loud. Nothing was like nothing even got a chuckle.
It's supposed to be a drama, like a sci-fi drama harem, because it's literally called Shuumatsu no harem. As I was telling Patrick earlier, like. Harem comes from, I believe it's Arabic, haram, which means forbidden. And we obviously, in the rest of the world, at least English-speaking world and Japan apparently, took that, made it harem, or at least pronounced it differently, and spelled it differently, I guess. And that goes from forbidden, because that's where they would keep their stuff, being concubines or otherwise. And we just said, oh yeah, just a place where you have you house a bunch of women you want to see. So that's where the genre's name comes from, minimum, my understanding. And so when we talk about that, that's why it makes sense that it has 3 or more. So Negima has like 100, right? Takeshimio has like 6. You know, a lot of the ones that you've seen are just a lot. High School DxD, which is maybe a harem, maybe not a harem, probably is a harem. There's at least 2. At least 2, if not 3. That's an ecchi show too. That's an ecchi show with a decent plot and a whole lot of plot. That one is a enjoyable show to watch for one reason or the other. So
unlike this one.
Yeah.
Unlike this one, right. Like you're not gonna get the ridiculous level of etchiness from this show that you can see in High School of the Dead. And you're not going to get a even passively interesting plot. Because if you took away everything from High School of the Dead that was of a sexual nature, it would still be at least an interesting zombie guy story.
Right.
You know, it's not anything amazing, but it's interesting. So, anyway, back to what makes a harem. We usually expect a male protagonist who is an idiot. Okay? On occasion, he's not a complete moron. But usually he's not trying to have a harem.
Right.
Accurate.
Yep.
Now, I don't think those are requirements to be a harem. Like, does he have to be completely like, oh, I want one lady in my life?
No. I think that's fine. If he's competent and he's like motivated and ambitious and whatnot, I feel like those are the harems that we root for the main character, right? If he's at least rootable, but if he's just an idiot or like things are just going his way and he's either messing things up, it's like, okay, why is he doing this? And then we kind of say, oh, that's just either part of the show. And I think those are the type of harems I don't like, right? But if the character is somewhat at least enjoyable and pleasant and like is doing something for a purpose, like, okay, he's just doing a story, but girls apparently other girls are attracted to him in the show. But he's the main point is that he's still doing his thing, and maybe he is picking a main character girl out of the whole group, right? Because when you say harem, a lot of them do come from the visual novel aspect, and there's that clear line where it's like anime will pick one route, and they're just gonna do that. But for a visual novel, it's like, oh yeah, there's so many different routes that you could go through. Which one we animate, let's say.
And of course, usually at least one of those endings you can have everybody.
Probably.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, because normally when I think of harems, I think of anime generally, not being a light novel fan myself. But I think of like a show like, which I did not watch, In Another World with My Smartphone, where he's isekai to another world. Sorry. In Shuumatsu no harem, why does his cell phone work? Why? He just kind of pulled out a cell phone and used it. I'm like,
yeah, like
5 years,
charged and ready to go.
Yeah, right? What? Okay. Anyway,
well, I think there's no bills in this world because like no one works, and it's just like
they work now.
yeah, they do.
People working now. What was I going to say? Anyway, so In Another World, My Smartphone, he gets isekai'd. He's a super badass, as is the trend. But he has a girlfriend or whatever. No, he has what do you call it? Unrequited love in his original world, and he can still communicate with the other world and like use his smartphone to talk to people, and he can use like Wikipedia and stuff. Like I've not watched it. This is what I know about it, and I hear it's terrible. And there's like triple lollies, like 3 sets of anyway.
Wow.
What?
Yeah, not gonna watch that show either. So, point being, it's that kind of like he's a competent hero, and he just got all these women around, all women, right?
Right.
Or Sword Art Online, right? He's got 2 dudes around him, and the rest are women, and they are in love with him, and he's technically a competent hero, right?
Yeah.
You know, because we generally think of Sword Art Online as being an isekai, but it's definitely a power trip, self-insert, harem, isekai, yada yada yada. It's a lot of the things all wrapped up into one, and the original story has a side chapter which is relatively infamous. Do you all remember that?
Oh yeah.
Patrick?
Yes. One word. Glops.
Glops. Yeah. Yeah, it's like chapter 16.5, sort of.
I did not enjoy Sword Art Online.
Oh, no.
I'd rather watch Log Horizon.
Oh,
yes.
Log Horizon's much
better. Yes, that one's better. Yes, definitely.
And the second season was good. Didn't hit me the second season did. Or the third season, sorry. Anyway, point is, harem shows generally have less of the person you're so if it's a female protagonist, it's usually going to be more men, unless they're going for the homosexual aspect of it. If they're male protagonists, there's not going to be a lot of men in the show, so on and so forth. So Shuumatsu no harem immediately deals with that. Just kills all the men. No dads, no doctors, no intelligent people apparently. And so that's a huge aspect of it. There's minimal of the sex that you don't want to be. I feel like that's kind of the core of a harem.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because like I'm trying to imagine like a lot of shows that just have a big cast of characters, right? And I know we're thinking like the ratio to men to women, let's say, but like let's say there's a show that's like 5 guys and like 20 women. I don't know, like just random cast. I would be like, is that a harem or not? But is the harem primarily focusing on like the one male character and the other women in the group? Because like I said, you said Sword Art Online. Like, yeah, I think people would say they would definitely say it's the main focus is the isekai aspect, right? But the fact that there are other women in the group,
including his sister.
Yep. Is that? I mean, hey, it's a woman. It's not a sister. It's just a woman.
I mean,
they're not related.
They're not literally. No, they're
No,
Okay,
no,
sorry.
no, no, I was sorry. I was just.
I'm gonna say
I said
I'm
that as
gonna
a joke.
complain. Sorry.
Sorry, I said that as a joke. I don't know.
Either he's adopted. I don't think so. I think she's his cousin. All right.
Okay,
Wow.
moving on. Sorry, didn't mean to detract that, but I think some people can argue say the isekai is the main aspect of the show, but it does have harem elements. I think it's hard to remove harem elements out of any show if there is just a lot more women than male characters, because
they just fall into it.
It's a wish fulfillment activity of the writer.
Right.
I honestly believe that.
Because, like, for example, like, just because of the characters being there in the cast and the show is going to make them interact in a certain way, let's just say, and it just makes it have that potential what if, that relationship, like Vicky was saying, where it's that connection that makes it seem like, oh, there is a potential between these two characters, whether you like it or not, because it's just the characters in the show. They're going to interact eventually. And that will usually give off harem type vibes, if not.
I think the challenge is if the writer wants people to hook up, that's what they're going for. Because I'm just thinking of random shows I've seen. Like, if there's more than 3 guys, it's not a harem, usually, because there's just so many. Just incidental characters are male. But like Scar and the Praetor, incidental characters were male. There was 1 female. And that's what the difference becomes. When random incidental characters are just of random gender, then it's okay. It's probably not focusing on harem aspects. But when every single character is one gender except for like a couple, 2, 3, 4 people, then yeah, they're probably going that direction for a very specific reason. Now, if you do that and it's not ecchi at all, I don't know what that show is. I can't think of what that show would be. But that would make it not a harem, almost definitely.
It almost just feels like harem is just something they use to spice up like a subplot with. Like, ooh, look at this little conflict we got on the side. Because I can't really remember any show that's like harem is the first, like comes first in the genre list. Even this one, it doesn't feel harem enough. Like it seems like it's setting it up, but it's not like off the bat. Like, here's a harem. It's just a bunch of women being thrown at this guy. And he's like, no, I only want to have babies with this one girl. And it's like, that's so unrealistic. You gotta save the world.
Yeah.
Gotta save the world.
Using again, I mean, we gotta stop talking about Redo Healer, but it's such a good point of reference where I think Redo Healer main point is revenge, and the sub point is the harem. But I really believe that. Man, okay, I don't want to say that. I strongly agree with Vicky when she says that the revenge aspect is a big point of the show, and that's really what drives the fact. And like the review, of course, the little tidbits are there, but I would call that a harem. But the forefront is that plot of revenge and that devious part of it. This show, I would say, it's the sci-fi aspect and that point, but it doesn't really set up to be a harem, like Vic was saying, because there are 5 male characters we're going to be introduced to potentially, right? The other 5 men in the show, which means there's probably the 5 other handlers as well, right? So the ratio might be 1-to-1 in that sense. More women will be introduced, obviously, but at least there is
5 billion women exists.
Yes,
so 5 dudes. That definitely makes it very difficult to not call it.
Yeah.
I think you both make a very good point as far as harem being a subtype of the story. So like calling harem a genre may be inappropriate. I think that whatever the case, harem elements like RPG elements can be put in just about anything.
Yeah.
Whether or not you choose to is kind of important. So something like the debatable harem of Orin High School Host Club, where there are plenty of women and plenty of men. which again, to Vicky's point, not a harem. Even though it's a commonly referred to as a good reverse harem.
Mm-hmm.
Versus say something like Tenchi Muyo, where he's got a couple male friends. He's got his grandpa, but they're not in they're in like one of every 4 episodes, right?
Mm-hmm.
On average. So ultimately it's Tenchi and then like new lady, little girl, new lady, rabbit, little girl. All right, police officers. And that's it. That's the show. Just a bunch of women. And then him, a child. Space women, child. Aliens, child. He's in high school and they're women. Anyway, so I guess so wish fulfillment is a huge part of it. The very specific ratio of how many male characters in their show or female characters in the case of the quote unquote reverse harem. And then how many women are attracted or how many of the opposite or I don't know how to phrase this in a way that generally helps everybody. But how many people are attracted to the main character that the main character might consider?
Mm-hmm.
But usually in harems, the main character only wants one.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's true. Like the male doesn't really even have to. The main character, whether male or female, doesn't even have to have interest. As long as the girl has interest or the opposite gender ever has interest to the guy, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
Like even if the main character doesn't see it, the fact that we see the girl like the guy, we're like, okay, yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
because we could ship them now. Let's say, I don't know, like it's kind of that weird because I would say a lot of shows where the guy has their mindset on one girl, right, and all the girls around them are like, oh, we want him too, but the guy's like, I just want the one girl. That's still a harem, even though he doesn't have interest with the other girls, right?
So here's something that doesn't happen. I was thinking about Naruto saying that because I'm like, okay, what if you took Sasuke? Right. What if you took Sasuke and you made him the main character of Naruto? Tried to turn it into a harem where all the classmate girls wanted him. There's too many dudes in this show to make that logically work, but let's say you did. But Sasuke's never interested in anybody until like the last minute. Like not really.
The show is about Sasuke though,
Mm-hmm.
isn't it?
If Sasuke is not interested in a romantic relationship, is it a harem in this imaginary world?
I think with harem, it would be because it's based on how the main character attracts other people to him and keep them to him, based on their perception of the main character. Because, like, they could fully well know, like, he's not going to choose them, but they stick around just for the possibility that he might.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Right.
I think that happens in Tenchi Muyo. Like,
Yeah.
That makes sense.
They know. Mm-hmm.
So even if he was, like, uninterested at all, he's like an asexual character.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, we're throwing ourselves at you. You can totally make an enjoyable comedy harem out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Can I say one thing? Like with Sakura and Sasuke, right? Everyone's like, they're gonna get together, right? But it takes 10 years for that to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, oh, you think like, oh, Naruto's gonna be ended with Sakura because Sakura likes Naruto likes Sakura and then Sakura likes Sasuke. Like that's the beginning thread of the show, like the first episodes, right? Because everyone likes that girl, and then like, you know, Sasuke has no interest, but you know, like you said, 10 years later, like that's just how they end up, and it's like, no, it's the potential it being there. I think that's what really sets it off as a harem, even if they don't like each other as well, because that's also another plot point where two people hate each other and they eventually like hook up, right? Like that's also valid in the harem sense. Like they don't have to necessarily like the character. I think the potential is there, whether they're attracted or not. Sets up that little spice. We're like, oh yeah, I could see it because people are going to see it.
Which would have been a very convenient segue into.
Which is.
But we're not going to talk about that. So, what's interesting is that in Naruto, a show where I feel like the women in this show get short shrift a lot. The women decide who they marry by the end of that show. Naruto does not get Sakura. Sasuke doesn't like find another Uchiha to make babies. Right. Best girl Hinata gets what she wanted. and Sakura gets exactly what she wants.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
and Tamari got
Tamari and he gets a little.
Shikamaru.
Yeah, Shikamaru,
I
yeah.
feel like I'm missing one more, but yeah. I mean, honestly, Tsunade is the only one that got screwed, but that's a whole other plot. Um, but yeah. It's a very So interesting aside there, but I do think that the core definition, I think, is main character has a group. This is the other part I was going to lead to once I had this settled down. A group of others attracted to them for some uncanny reason, and you, as a viewer, can self-insert and think like, what would I do? Who would I pick? And generally speaking, the cast of characters is primarily of a type that would be attracted to the main character.
You know what's a good harem, but not an anime?
Sure.
True Blood.
Oh, the American TV show, True Blood?
Mm-hmm. Suki has like 4 suitors at least that are all just like there for her, even when she's not dating them, even when she's like not in relationships. And like they are so basically hooked on her that she could ask them for like to do anything, pretty almost. So that, huh?
Sure does.
Mm-hmm.
What?
You were so muted in that response. I was not expecting.
I'm still reeling over what I've watched today. I need to re-energize with something good. But it just reminded me, like, that's a reverse harem.
Yeah. So my thought is this: what if, and this could be permuted, or there could be various permutations on this one. What if you had a character who was uninterested but was being pursued by the gender that they were not attracted to in the first place? So like a man attracted by a ton, like he gets all these gay men are in love with him, and he's like not interested. Is that a harem?
Yeah,
Yes.
because
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's based on the
viewer.
constituents
The,
of
like
the harem.
if I was that particular type, I'd be like, yeah, this is my show. Like, you know
And
what I'm saying?
and I'm saying I could see the interest in that, because there's plenty of times I've talked to women who are interested in who are potentially fujoshi, who are like, I don't care if they're not gay. I just want to see the interaction. I want to see them see what happens. I want to see if it develops. That relationship building is its own entertainment value. And I think that this has, to my knowledge, this hasn't happened yet. But there's tons of times, Utena being one of these, where the female character was accosted by her female friends who are like, "I love you. I'm in love with you. I want to be your girlfriend or whatever." And they don't mean it like that, but why not? Like, you could have an entire, and I would probably watch it because it'd probably be hilarious, but an entire anime, main female lead, straight. All of the girls love her. Like,
which is
Utena. It doesn't have like Utena. And it doesn't have to be like super ecchi. It could just be a straight up comedy. Because I did recently watch the first season, second season come out, I haven't watched it yet, of Reincarnated as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom, and that is definitely an isekai otome harem show, and I think it's good because everyone loves the main character. The women love the main character, want to be with her constantly. They haven't quite established, at least in the first season, if it's going to be like every woman romantically wants to be with her. They're like unawakened like bisexuals at this point. In that show, by the end of the first season, literally every person she interacts with, because she knows. Okay, really quick. Reincarnated as Villainous, All Routes Lead to Doom. Long title. Yeah, girl plays video game, dies, reincarnated. She's the main character who's a villain, and she doesn't want to get murdered. all routes lead to doom. So she befriends and fixes everyone. She's like a hyper competent protagonist, but she's like super adorable and awesome. But she's also completely clueless that they are all of them literally are in love with her.
Mm-hmm.
So
sounds
there,
a lot like
boom.
Evlogia.
Sounds like a harem.
Why you gotta?
Whoa. Last week
I'm
was
just saying-
wild.
I'm just saying. Just sounds where he dies, reincarnates into the game,
She's right.
technically as a
Okay.
villain,
Damn,
and then
she's
goes
right.
along fixing things and actually befriending all of the allies that Hero would have. Spoilers for
This
Evlogia.
show doesn't have like imaginary penis ejaculation scenes.
But hey, if you remove all of that, it's 1-1.
If you remove 4 minutes from the 7-minute anime, it's the same show.
I'm so disappointed.
Oh my god, I'm disappointed too because again, when you watch a show, again bring back to Shuumatsu no Harem, when you watch a show, you expect something, and you're just like it didn't deliver. So I was like, yeah. But for harem shows, when you watch a harem show, like when you call it that, you're like, I expect this to be a thing.
Yeah.
But I think the elements of harem is just so easy to sprinkle and spice a show because of character interactions, quote unquote.
Yeah.
That becomes that relationship, and then as a viewer, you're like, I could see it happen. Because for me, watching Utena, I'm like, it's obviously Utena and Anthe, right? Like they spend so much time together just because of the show. But I'm like, no, I want Utena and her best friend. Her best friend's amazing.
Wakaba.
Yeah, Wakaba. I was like, yes, she is great. Don't like Anthe, man. I'm not rooting for her. Like I'm rooting for her, but man, she's just so bad. But Wakaba, every time I see Wakaba, I'm like, yes, she makes me smile every time.
And then she gets her little heart broken. So sad.
Oh yeah, that was sad. That was sad.
Yeah.
I still have like 4 episodes or 3 episodes left. I don't know. I haven't touched it, but end of the year, that's the goal.
Yeah.
Get done with that show that I don't really like that much.
My next pick for us to watch is gonna show reverse harem. Well, it's not quite a reverse harem. It's a kitty corner harem, we'll say.
That's big words. I don't know. You put words together. I'm like, what does that mean?
Did you say like cat, or did you say like child?
No, I say kitty corner. Like
kitty corner.
It's not opposite. It's
sorry.
Yeah.
I heard kid, like kitty corner.
Oh my god, no.
Oh my
no,
God.
no kids.
Like, what the hell are we doing now?
There are no kids in this.
Thank you.
Corner.
I'm good on the kids and the sexual innuendo. I'm good. Guess what I watched? When I say that, guess what I watched? Mushoku motherfucking Tensei again.
Wow.
Oh my
he's 50
God.
years old. He's a 45-year-old man.
Okay, can I? Okay, so Ranma, we're gonna watch Ranma.
Yes, Ranma next week,
It's
guys.
gonna be great. It's gonna be 1 episode, and you're gonna be like, Vicky's gonna be like, and Patrick's gonna be like, I see it, and I'm gonna be like, it's amazing. But you're gonna watch your show. What's your show gonna be?
Dramatical Murder.
Okay.
It's gonna be great.
Never heard of it except for when you say it. And then Patrick, have you figured out yours yet?
Yes, mine is The World God Only Knows.
Really?
That's a harem show, isn't it?
I think I saw like 1 episode of that like 12 years ago.
Oh, it's a 2010. It's a 2010 show. Yeah.
So, 11 years ago.
Yeah. It's been some time.
Yeah, I think okay. I don't remember it almost at all. Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So those will be our new harem trilogy. Now that we finish our ecchi trilogy. But no, I did watch Mushoku Tensei season 2. Watched 2 episodes. Watched yesterday to palate cleanse this land crap with some objectification of 13-year-olds. So just to remind people that Mushoku Tensei, as much as it's a good show that has terrible objectification from a 45-year-old man and a 10-year-old body looking at a 13-year-old girl who's his cousin.
Wow.
Not in his mind.
And just like in the first season, they're like, yeah, people have sex. Listen to them. Also, Haha, you walked into them doing it. Hi,
Wow.
join us. Like, this show does not care. If you didn't know, you weren't listening to Mushoku Tensei or the episodes we talked about it after that.
Wow. So they
But
just don't hold back.
same. It's the same. You're going to take the bad with the good because there's some bad in there. But the bad is just like, why bad versus just like, shoot, like, the show is not bad, but the content can get bad.
Just like we do Healer.
Yeah. It's their.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
it's like the poop joke, you know.
Mushoku Tensei is a better story.
No, it's sort of like Panting Stocking with their daily poop jokes. They're gonna say poop and cock all the day. They're gonna just say those words every episode.
Powerpuff Girls with more swearing and sex. Right. Yeah, I would definitely say it's a little closer to Penny and Stocking, but it's still got the gross 11-year-old but 45-year-old but also 13-year-old thing. Because the beginning of Mushoku Tensei episode 1's like, it's been a year, so they're a year older, and then they travel on a boat, and girl gets sick, so then of course,
gotta heal him.
Literally, he heals her, but she's like seasick, so she like has to loosen her clothes.
Corey, you don't have to set the scene. I already set it in my mind. I already knew what the show was gonna do. The show was going for it. The show know what's.
I'm gonna finish because I gotta share the love. And then he talks about needing to go relieve himself.
Wow.
I was gonna say he was gonna finish. Good job.
You're welcome. Thank you. But yeah, so that's our next 3 weeks. Man.
I feel like I need to watch a better ecchi show after watching Shuumatsu no Harem. Because it just wasn't, it didn't have the ecchi for me. It was just like...
Me neither.
Some boops, and that was it.
This show did nothing for me. Like, in all the sense. It did nothing. Yeah. I don't really get it. I just didn't get it.
It was like an empty...
So let's off top of our heads, what's a good ecchi show? Man, I wish my ecchi list wasn't half destroyed.
I wish I was 15 years younger.
Oh, you know what? All right, Patrick, I think you'll agree with me. I don't know, Vicky. I don't know if you've seen it. Kill la Kill.
Yeah, of course. Kill la Kill.
That's a good one. Yeah,
that's a good ecchi.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good ecchi show. I'm just trying to think about our ecchi list because I made it, so I might as well use it.
Would Love Hina be a good one? That's more of a harem. It's just the situations. I'm trying to think of situations where like the etchiness is there.
Like I wish Bayonetta became an anime because it's
didn't they do like? Oh no, I'm not sure they did.
I don't know.
That would be a good one.
What's the one? What's the one where the 2 twins go to the other world to play video games or games?
No Game, No Life.
No Game, No Life.
Oh, yep.
I mean, that one pushes boundaries too. Too many children in that show, but still, it's a good show. The ecchis ain't bad, not at all. Ikkitosen.
Yeah, I was thinking of Ikkitosen too. Well, time for us to palate cleanse with something better than what we watched because it was just it was like eating plain celery.
It's like eating an unseasoned potato.
Man, it was
like drinking LaCroix.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Not even. No, LaCroix has that little spice and bubbly. It was just plain water. It's just like I don't.
Like, it's like drinking warm tap water.
Yep, there we go.
I had thirst, and it was like nothing was satisfying.
It's like drinking ocean water. There we go.
The thirst was not quenched watching this show.
All right, so yeah. Ranma next week. Whatever you said, Vicky.
Dramatical murder.
Dramatical? Dramatical.
Dramatical murder.
Okay.
Let me look it up to make sure I'm saying his name right.
We'll look that up.
Yeah.
I want to do the world Goblin knows, but I mean I just want to also like I could just stay on high school, but just because I want to watch that show again.
It's good though. It's so good. Look, kids fall in love. That's all I'm saying.
I just want. That's all I want.
Man.
That's all I want. Exactly. But
That's
we'll
all.
save that.
Jeez.
We'll save it for another pocket, maybe.
So this is episode 37?
Yes, episode 37, guys.
So for episode 38, yeah, we are going to watch Ranma Half by Rumukyo Takahashi, who is obviously going to be amazing and great and better because she's for other great things like Inuyasha, Maison Ikoku. Was it one? I always want to call it One Punch Bible now because One Punch Man. But other great things that were either really, really long, or really, really short. Mermaid Saga. I'm a big fan. So
Did you do Yurusei Yatsura?
Yunus?
Right?
Oh yeah, that's
a good one too.
that was from the early '70s. That's like one of her most famous ones that people don't think about. But I have watched all of her big stuff, or read all of it. I've read all of Ranma. I've read all of Maison Ikoku. I've watched all of Ranma. I've watched half of Maison Ikoku, and I've watched all of Yurusei Yatsura, including the movies for all of them except for Mason. I like Rumukyo Takahashi as a novelist.
You don't say.
Yeah. Yes. Ask me questions. I will tell you. How old is she? I don't know. She's old though.
Oh,
she's been around.
You gotta get your idol knowledge, and you need to know their blood type, age,
height,
her height, her three sizes.
She's single.
All right.
Yeah. I in waiting to do these harem episodes and talk about watching Ranma for like 2 months, 2 different YouTubers have released things related to harems and Ranma. Bonsai Pop did one about, I want to say, a week ago from the recording of this, and Mother's Basement did a harem episode about harems, and his conclusion that Ranma is one of the first, if not the first harem. But I will say this about harems in general, because we're going to talk about it more in the next 3 weeks. They're good if you get the right kind of writer. And I think Rumukyo Takahashi did a great job of creating a lot of the standards and the cliches now, but did them in a way that has not been easily reproduced, because I think she's a woman. She comes out with a different perspective than most male writers. And then the female writers who do stuff end up doing stuff like do a healer for some reason. I don't.
Wait, but it's not. Is that
I don't remember.
I actually don't remember. I don't remember either. Yeah.
I just remember being surprised. But yeah, I'm a big fan. Ranma's great. Inuyasha's pretty good. Maison Ikoku is pretty good. Yurusei Yatsura was fun. Has a real crappy protagonist, but there you go.
All right. So, thank you guys for listening, guys. For what was it? The show? Damn. Shuumatsu no Harem was our episode. We dunked on it a lot. Don't watch it. It doesn't even fulfill. It's not good. It doesn't even give you what you want to watch. Watch Redo Healer instead. It's the only time I will promote Redo Healer.
It's way better.
Way better. More plot. And even bigger plot.
Fulfillment of harem fantasy.
Exactly.
Fulfillment of great fantasy.
No.
Brutal murder.
No. What?
No.
Join us next week for a good planet cleanser of Ranma Half. It's very sad that these two shows are next to each other, but watch episode 38, which is next week of Taku Katsu, guys. I have been your host, Patrick, joined by Cori.
The only boobs are dude boobs, who is a girl in Ranma.
Ooh, that's some good spice. She knew what she was doing. She knew what she was doing, right?
Opinions on this show, because some people think it's anti-women, some people think it's anti-LGBT, and I'm like, it's not. But there's a good argument to be had.
And your other host, Vicky.
We're gonna see why blue hair is best hair.
It is.
It is.
Amen. All praise to Hinata, Akane, and anyone else.
Well, we'll see.
If it's not blue hair, black hair is a good second.
Vicky and Cori are right on this matter.
Sailor Mercury.
Mercury, everyone. Sailor Mercury. All
I
right,
just
guys.
started getting a list of blue-haired girls. Just all over.
No, that's
Ayuri
that's
Yaoshi, main
that's another
character, I
B
think
side.
has blue
That's another
purple
B
hair.
side. Blue.
Oh, wait, sorry. Does purple hair count?
That's rare. That's a rare one.
Yeah, because I'm thinking of Yoruichi, who vacillates between black and blue or black and purple, depending on like the colorist and all this other stuff.
Yeah. Depends on how dark it is.
She's pretty great too. I don't know if she's best girl in Bleach, but she's close.
Well, we'll see. Best boy.
We'll see. We'll see the best boy.
Who's the best boy in Bleach?
Not in Bleach. Dramatical Murder.
And Vicky's.
Oh,
show.
you're on your own thing. My bad.
Yeah.
I'll catch up to you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That has been Taku Katsu.
Watch more Vanitas.
Watch my Vanitas. Yes.
Yes.
I have not watched more Vanitas. I'm still trying to watch Sunny Boy and the Booney Dungeon.
If anything, you're the one that can really watch these shows. Me and Vicky are kind of
I do a pretty good job.
slowing down.
Yeah. I got to keep my otaku cred up.
Yes.
My
Our credit slowly
otaku
going. Our otaku credit slowly going down the drain, right, Vicky?
No,
it's going up. It's going up.
We got to make some more deposits.
I think every time we put out an episode, we prove what we don't know, but it's still more than what people do know. So we're all right. We're all right. Plus, you speak Japanese anyway, so until you go to Japan, your credit's just going to be way up.
Oh, I did.
Oh, well, I mean, okay, let me rephrase that. Until you are compared with actual Japanese people who are also otaku, your credit's always going to be higher than anyone else because you can just like no Japanese.
That's true.
Bird. Say that in Japanese.
All right, guys.
Oh my god, Shinderu.
This has been I'm trying to end the show. We keep going.
Everything I said out. I am freaking
keep going.
Sorry.
This is welcome to the seaside of Taku Katsu. The credits trying to close. All right, bye.
Bye.